Jacob's story is an epic journey of faith, deception, and redemption that resonates across time in a world where cunning often triumphs over integrity. His life confronts us with uncomfortable truths about human nature and the divine plan. Have you ever wondered how God can use imperfect people to fulfill his purposes? Get ready for a narrative that will challenge your notions of justice and mercy as we explore the surprising origin of a chosen nation. Genesis 25:21 introduces us to a couple in distress. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was barren. The Lord answered his prayer, and Rebekah became pregnant. In ancient times, barrenness was viewed as a curse, and Rebekah carried this burden for 20 years. Imagine the desperation that must have consumed their hearts as they clung to God's promise to Abraham, yet were unable to conceive a child. God's response to Isaac's prayer didn't come without complications. Genesis 25:22-23 reveals that the babies jostled within her, prompting her to ask, "Why is this happening to me?" When she consulted the Lord, he replied, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." Rebekah's pregnancy foreshadowed the conflict that would mark not only her sons' lives, but entire nations. Genesis 25:24-26 describes the dramatic birth. When the time came, she gave birth to twins. The first was red and hairy, so they named him Esau. His brother followed, grasping Esau's heel, and was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah bore them. The contrast between the twins was evident from birth. Esau, the eldest, with his reddish, hairy appearance, symbolized his rough and impulsive nature. Jacob, however, was born grasping his brother's heel, a prophetic gesture of his cunning and determined personality. As the boys grew, their differences became more pronounced. Genesis 25:27-28 describes Esau as a skilled hunter, a man of the open field, while Jacob preferred the quiet life among the tents. Isaac, who had a taste for wild game, loved Esau, but Rebekah loved Jacob. The parental favoritism sowed seeds of discord that would later blossom, offering a timeless lesson about the dangers of unequal treatment of children. A turning point came when a seemingly trivial incident had profound consequences. Genesis 25:29-34 recounts how Jacob, cooking stew, was approached by a famished Esau. "Quick, let me have some of that red stew. I'm famished," Esau demanded. Jacob replied, "First, sell me your birthright." Driven by hunger, Esau agreed, saying, "What good is the birthright to me?" Thus, Esau despised his birthright. This episode reveals much about both brothers. Esau, impulsive and short-sighted, traded his birthright, a position of great honor and responsibility in patriarchal society, for a meal. Jacob, on the other hand, displayed calculated shrewdness, seizing an opportunity to gain his brother's birthright. While Jacob's actions may seem questionable by modern standards, they reflect a keen understanding of the birthright's value and a willingness to do whatever it took to obtain it. The exchange became a powerful symbol of Esau's recklessness and Jacob's opportunistic nature. The Bible offers no explicit moral judgment on Jacob's actions here, but the narrative will show how this decision shaped both brothers' fates and their descendants. Genesis 27 takes us to a crucial moment in Isaac's life. Now old and nearly blind, he called his elder son Esau to bless him. Isaac's plan to bless Esau, despite the earlier sale of the birthright, shows his ongoing preference for his firstborn. Perhaps he was unaware of the agreement between the brothers or deemed it invalid. Regardless, his intention to bless Esau sparked a series of events that would forever alter the family's course. Rebekah overheard Isaac's conversation with Esau and devised a plan to secure the blessing for Jacob instead. She instructed Jacob to bring her 2 young goats so she could prepare a meal Isaac loved, encouraging Jacob to deceive his father by posing as Esau. Although initially hesitant, Jacob ultimately complied, disguising himself with Esau's clothing and goatskins to mimic Esau's hairy skin. When Jacob approached Isaac, the tension was palpable. Despite his suspicions, Isaac blessed Jacob, conferring on him prosperity, dominance, and a special spiritual status, fulfilling the prophecy that the older will serve the younger. Shortly afterward, Esau returned, only to discover the deception. Trembling with shock, Isaac affirmed that the blessing would stand. Devastated, Esau pleaded for a blessing, but received only a secondary blessing, predicting a life of struggle. Esau's anger was immediate and intense. "The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob," he vowed. Rebekah, aware of the danger, arranged for Jacob to flee to her brother Laban's household. This departure marked the beginning of Jacob's transformative journey. On his way, Jacob had a remarkable dream of a ladder stretching between heaven and earth, with angels ascending and descending. In this dream, God reaffirmed the promises made to Abraham and Isaac, extending them to Jacob. Jacob awoke awestruck, declaring, "Surely the Lord is in this place." He named the site Bethel, marking his first personal encounter with God. Arriving in Haran, Jacob fell in love with Rachel, Laban's daughter, agreeing to work 7 years for her hand in marriage. However, Laban deceived him, substituting Leah, his elder daughter, on the wedding night. When Jacob confronted Laban, he agreed to work another 7 years for Rachel. The deceiver had been deceived, a humbling turn in Jacob's journey. Jacob's years in Haran were marked by rivalry between Leah and Rachel, who each vied for his affection through the birth of children. This competition produced 12 sons who would become the tribes of Israel. Over time, Jacob's wealth increased through astute breeding practices, leading to tensions with Laban's family. After 20 years, God instructed Jacob to return home. As he prepared to face Esau, Jacob was filled with fear, dividing his household into 2 camps for safety and praying earnestly. That night, he wrestled with an angel until daybreak, refusing to let go until he received a blessing. The angel changed his name to Israel, signifying he struggles with God. Jacob's limp from this encounter served as a lifelong reminder of his reliance on God. Jacob's reunion with Esau, though fraught with tension, ended in an unexpected embrace. Esau ran to Jacob, embraced him, and they wept, signaling a moment of reconciliation. Afterward, Jacob settled in Canaan, where he faced new trials and family tragedies. His beloved wife, Rachel, died giving birth to Benjamin, and his son's deceit regarding Joseph, whom they sold into slavery, caused him years of grief. The famine that later struck Canaan led Jacob to send his sons to Egypt, where Joseph, now a ruler, eventually revealed himself and invited Jacob's family to live in Egypt. Jacob's final years were marked by blessings and prophecies for his descendants, foretelling the tribes of Israel's futures. Jacob's life, filled with struggles, deceptions, and reconciliations, exemplifies how God can use human flaws and hardships to accomplish his divine purposes. The legacy of Jacob's journey reminds us that transformation is possible for us all. If this story has touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who could benefit from its message.